Hi, I'm the fellow passenger. In this video, we're going to take a look at this guy here, the Shaper MIDI. It might be a device that you use a lot, but it might not be. So let me just demonstrate what this does first, very briefly. It is like an envelope, but you can have quite complex shapes and you can map it to whatever you want. And you can have a random button. But we are not going to use it as an envelope today, because I thought the other day that it can be used as quite a complex abstract sequencer. So let's just add a clean slate. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to just, for this demo purposes, just to take a C. And I'm using the operator. You can use whatever synth you like for this, but I'm just going to use the operator because it's generally my go-to. Let's set that to that. Okay, so it's just playing a note over and over again. And every time, every bar, because we made this a bar long, this will repeat. So you can see here what's triggering. Now we're going to use this as a sequencer. So let's say we want to use this as a 16-step sequencer. This is going to be a sort of abstract sequencer. First, we need to set this to be a bar long. So we set that to 1. So as you see now, you can see every bar, that sort of the whole dropping off continues for the entire bar. Now we can set up our 16 steps. So we set a grid of 16. This is quite an abstract sequencer. So you can see each of these. I don't know if you're familiar with Eurorack, but imagine that you have 16 sliders that you can move at different heights depending on which note you want to play. And also, like Eurorack, you don't necessarily, if you're not using a quantizer, they don't necessarily map to proper notes. So we can do that here. So let's just pick a few notes. And as you see here, that's, I think, where it becomes quite interesting, this sequencer, because you don't necessarily do this very straight. So let's just try this. I'm going to turn mod off and have it as remote, and then we map this to the sequencer. Let's see what... So we've got a little sequence going. So let's continue this, but also now you can see these are quite straight lines. The interesting thing with this is that you don't have to have straight lines. You can have curves. And if you hold the Option key on a Mac, I don't know what that would be, maybe Alt or something on a PC, you can also sort of change the steepness of this curve. So you can get really crazy drops and things like that. So we can do that a bit sharper. Let's tone that down. And then we can so I clicked it and then I hit Command G to put it in a group, and then we can make another one. And you don't have to be so finicky and do this if you don't want. You can just press the random one a few times, and then we can map that to, let's say, the level of... And we can also set this to loop, and if we set this to half a bar or like a half note, this will sort of loop twice during that bar. Let's just draw something out the whole bar. The And you can try to offset it. If you think those notes are a little bit too low, you can always pitch everything up a little bit using the offset. I think it's quite interesting for creating some more abstract melodies. So let's just, for context, let's just add a little beat into this. And the interesting things, if you think of Eurorack, where I think something I realized using a lot of Eurorack stuff is that you don't necessarily just sequence the melody, you sequence everything. You can sequence the filter, or you can... let's do another copy of these, and I'm just going to quickly draw out another sequence that I'm just making up here. And then we can modulate the pitch, use this sequencer to change the pitch of the operator 2 here, or operator B. But we may want that to run. Let's try to half that. Or we can try some of these default shapes we've got here. So there I'm using the offset to push the volume of the second operator up a bit. Let's take another one, and I'm just going to hit random a few times. Or should we just make it more of a realistic sequence where we treat each one as a bar? No, that's too much work. We'll just do whatever we want. We can do this, and then we use that to manipulate the filter frequency. But maybe we want less steps here. Let's do an 8-step sequence, and hit that. So we can do the cross there, just deletes the previous sequence you had. Maybe we can do something with an envelope as well. Well, we treat it as an actual envelope. So if we clear this pattern, we can set that to 8 steps. So we have a note, and then the next note is going to be silent, and then we want a bit louder the second time around. So this is the sort of decay time we're drawing in now. Maybe the decay time, that can go over 2 steps and have that. And then we have 2 silent bars, and then we can go up here again and do a last note. And then we map this to the volume. I don't know how this is going to work. Does it want to? Let's take an expression control, and sometimes we can send this off to a little bit of reverb or something. We make this curve like this so it doesn't send it off to the reverb quite as often. Oh, that needs to put that there. Oh, no, actually, that's not going to work. We need something similar to this. We need another sequence. We can map that to the reverb as well. Let's take this sequence, and then we copy that and we map that to the waveform here. So we keep Okay, I'm just going to do one more last thing. We take the, let's make another MIDI track, and we make that 4 bars long. This is not strictly necessary, but it's going to be an interesting little thing. I'm going to take an old Max for Live device that I have made. Is it that MIDI to trigger? Yes. So every time this Max for Live device receives a MIDI note, so let's do, doesn't matter which MIDI note it is. So you can see that when I start the bar, those one light up. So you can just use that as a button press, if you will, and then we go off and then we map that to these random, go in and we every 4 bars, it's going to change all these into completely new melodies. And if you want to, this Max for Live device, also you can set how likely it is. They're set to 100% by default, so they're always going to trigger, but you can have a bit of chance there. So some of them changes and some of them don't. So let's see, we'll do a bit more. One more. Luckily, we got one more here. And the noble art of not putting a limiter on anything, that makes it really horrid. So you might be squealing in your ears. So let me just be kind and drop a limiter after this. And let's set that to something like -6 decibels or 6.1, that will do. All right, I don't know if that was a worthwhile tutorial, but it was quite fun to do. Experiment with this, and thank you for watching. And if you want to grab this project file, including the Max for Live device, you can sign up to my Patreon. And also, if you've looked at my Patreon before, you might notice something new because I've made some new tiers. I'm releasing quite big sample packs every single week. So yeah, if you're interested in that, please check it out. There's more to come. Thank you. Bye.